All over the world, students are athletes. Some have more rigorous training than others, getting up at 5:30 on some occasions just to be ready for sports practice at 6:15 a.m. These athletes would practice until school starts, and then go to school for approximately 7 hours, and then have another 2 hours of practice after that. And all that time, the only meal that would be readily available is school lunch. So, for a schedule of having to be focused for 12 hours straight, one solid meal is most definitely not enough, no matter how healthy it is. It doesn't matter that these meals are nutritionally sound, or that you could live the rest of your life eating one of these meals. What matters is simply a lack of necessary calories. I can attest to these fatigues, being a member of the school cross-country team. In terms of school, athletics, and meals, my average day went something like this. Wake up at 6 o'clock a.m., take a shower, get ready for school, do whatever. No breakfast. Go to early band practice at 7:30 a.m., practice into first grade and have no chance for school breakfast. Go through the school day, eat lunch. After school, have cross-country practice until approximately 5:30 p.m. I would then proceed to go home, and about half the time, eat supper. I do admit these lack of meals are mainly my own fault, but I still feel as though I needed more from the school. Part of the issue, we feel, is because of the recently passed Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. This law seems fine and dandy from afar, but upon closer inspection and experience, is far from it.
The problem with the Healthy Kids Act is that athletes are not getting enough calories and food for all the exercise they are doing. Did you know that during the 2011-2012 school year, we had about 150 students out for sports, according to Mr. Reimers? The lunches we currently have are based on a 2,000-calorie diet. According to kidsandnutrition.com, boys ages 15 to 18 need an average of 2,755 calories per day, and girls ages 15 to 18 need an average of 2,110 calories per day. For a boy, that's up to 755 calories that they are not getting, and they most certainly need. For a girl, the circumstances isn't as excruciating, but they are still missing about 110 calories. Many teenagers that are involved in athletics simply don't have time for breakfast because of sports practices. They go through the school day without a good lunch. At lunch, they get a small meal, such as a small deli wrap, some corn, and an apple. Many meals such as this consist of as little as 600 calories. Then they finish the school day and go to lift weights after school, still with nothing in their stomachs besides school lunches. When they get home, they still have up to 2,255 calories left to consume in their last meal of the day. We are told by scientists that adolescents are supposed to eat 6 smaller meals a day, not one small one and an enormous one. But if they aren't even getting 3 regular meals every day, then they are burning off more calories than they take in. So if they are not getting enough calories, then when they go to sports practices, hungry and distracted, unable to perform their best on the playing field, let alone concentrate in their classes during the school day. If they are not getting enough calories, then their brains cannot prosper and learn as teenagers are supposed to. If brains cannot prosper and learn, then grades and GPA will drop. Then when grades and GPA drop, then that particular student can no longer participate in sports until they get that grade up. That hinders both the player and the team itself, now being both one additional member. Both the lack of energy in the students and a drop in morale because of ineligibility, causing a downward spiral, never to end without outside association. So finally, fed up with this never-ending cycle, we saw this opportunity and devised a couple of solutions.
I'm sure that all or most of you, I'm sure that all or most of you, be you a student or a teacher, perhaps none of the sort, have ever heard or had a complaint or two, or maybe even expressed the issue at first hand. In any case, the result is like the meals themselves unappetizing. This is why we came up with a couple of solutions. The first solution we are going to propose is requiring both coaches and teachers to allow students to have at least 20 minutes of free time directly before school, such that these athletes have the opportunity to eat breakfast. In addition to these, coaches could not schedule any practice before 6 o'clock a.m. The second solution is much more major and involves changing the school schedule itself. I bet some of you are thinking, what does a change in schedule have to do with food? Well, let me tell you, this new and improved schedule would feature a few major changes as well as some minor tweaks. As you can see from the handout, this new and improved schedule will feature 2 12-minute breaks, one being between second and third period, the other being between 7th and 8th period. These breaks replace the passing time between classes. You will also notice that time in Harbor has been significantly increased. These reasons for this is simply to make Harbor a more reliable time to get things done. Using the current schedule, designating Harbor as time to get things done is very hit and miss, and we believe that should be improved as well. During these breaks, though, students would be free to wander, converse, students, whatever, but more importantly, they would have the option to go to the lunchroom and get themselves a healthy snack. Such snacks would probably include, but would not be limited to, apples, oranges, pears, carrot sticks, and celery.
Despite the minuscule proportions of these items, these snacks should give you the energy necessary for practice after school, or to satiate your hunger if you happen to forget breakfast. And, as we all know, chances are you did. These snacks aren't designed to be considered a meal of any sort, and could actually be completely negligible by the students themselves. If somebody really needed to cram for the bio test next period, that would be a viable option. The meals themselves would cost minute amount of money, though it would be preferable if these snacks were free. Only by having them cost money would the idea be self-perpetuating. Other options would include student-based fundraisers, donations, and diverging main school funding to food. This idea actually originated from a program for elementary schools that was basically the same thing. That is, 2 breaks, 1 before lunch, 1 after lunch. Normally, the school would have to apply for a grant that would give them the money necessary to fund such an event. But I believe it is possible to make such an option available through ingenuity and opportunity, and someone willing to lend an ear to what students have to say. Most people just disregard what students have to say, justifying themselves with excuses such as teenagers are just hormonal kids, or they don't know the science behind such things. While both of these may be true, they should also factor in that kids eat lunches oftentimes every day, and that we don't need post-secondary education to know whether or not we enjoy these meals. Even cafeteria worker Amy Price can attest to that.
My mom, Amy Price, said that she agrees with eating healthy, but she thinks that we do not get enough food. Which, she said that there might be an Iowa law change where they get different amount of food just in Iowa. But I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what she heard. She thinks that here at the high school you get enough choices, as in, like, we get a choice of 2 entrees and then different sides for each. Unlike the middle school where they only get one choice of food. She thinks that the benefit is that you have nutrients that you need in a day. Here on this poster, this over here is the new schedule that we're getting, and that we should get. You go through first hour, you go through second, and then we add like a snack time thing where you can get like apples, fruits, whatever. And then you go through third, fourth, fifth A, fifth B, and then harbor is longer. 6th hour, 7th hour, and then another time to get fruits and vegetables, then 8th hour. And then over here, it's the calories per day, that per age. It says over here that if you are a male and you are sedentary active, you should get about 2,400 calories per day. And if you're moderately active, you should get 2,800. And if you're a female, you should get, if you're sedentary activity, you should get somewhere around 1,800. And then if you're moderately active, you should get about 2,000.
Well, taking action. Now that you've heard what the students of Ogden had to say about this, we encourage you to push this further and to help get the time to be able to get some snacks and the free time to do this. And thank you.
And are you tired of going through the day with an empty stomach? Because I know I am. Just imagine going through the day and not being hungry. Does that not sound great? I would love to be able to go through the day without my stomach growling. Like, if we get something like French toast or something that you really love for breakfast every day, you would never be hungry during the school day. Especially for those athletes who have to get up at somewhere around 5 and then go to practice for an hour and a half and then get very little breakfast. It's not only breakfast that doesn't get us a lot of food, it's lunch that we get too. With the lunch that we get, we are only getting about 400 calories with our main dish and 200 with our sides. If you ask me, that is not enough, because if you're a female, between 14 and 18, you need about 2,400. And if you're a male, you need about 2,800. If you do the math, the amount of food we get in school is not even 1/3 the amount that we should get in a day.
Now that you know what you can do to help out the community with this growing issue, and now the specifics of the issue itself, I hope you can do your part in making this school system a more desirable place to live, laugh, and learn.